It's not another, just another love song in my brains. Let's see if I can get that. Love song in my brains. They always say that you got to. Mr. De Castro, how are you? Coming up shortly. Stay tuned. We're going to have some information. We're going to talk about the Bronx. We're going into history making. Problem, feel free to share it on my page. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone who tuning in. We know we don't get the result at this moment, but we get it after the show. So feel free to share this program. Getting ready to come to you. Stay tuned. Bear with me. How are you doing, Mr. De Castro? How is everything? How is everything doing? Let me see if I can thank these people who make it possible. We're coming up shortly. It's just another night. Just one of those evenings. Cheryl DeWitt, how you doing? How you doing? It's just one of those nights, but we have to talk about it. And let me see what we can do here now. Gonna bring to you something that subscreen share now. If you're in tune, we thank you so much. Blessing to you also, Cheryl. I see you eating healthy the other day, eating some of my favorite food. I was a little want to reach in and take it out, Cheryl. Don't do that. You're a teaser. Okay. So at 9 o'clock, we will be coming to your live. And thank you so much, everyone who tuned in. We're coming up shortly. Coming up, get ready. Stay tuned. Share the program. Share the live. Would you believe I was sleeping? And I jumped out of my sleep and forgot today's Monday. That's when I know I don't like Monday. But we got to give God thanks for every day. Jackie Williams, how you doing? Let me see which work, because I don't think it's on my regular page. So maybe the folks there is not aware. But I'm just waiting for my guests, and we'll be able to move forward with the program. And we'll be talking tonight about the things that I can't tell you about. Might be my last virtual. The virtuals are just winding down for me. Soon time to go back to the real world. So I think being home and doing this has been so exciting. Just don't have to leave. But soon the virtual might just be a thing of the past, going into something different, but you will be seen. So get ready for what's about to come. Let's see if I could share it with you. Hmm. Problem, share it on my page for me. Ah.
Hi.
It's like I scare you.
Yeah, and I'm always getting used to StreamYard. It's an app that I'm not that familiar with. I've only used it a couple of times.
Yes, yes. And I was just saying, I'm bringing you to enjoy winding down to maybe a few of my last virtuals because soon time to go back out into the real world of radio and doing the things that I
The
normally
normal
do.
things, yes.
The normal thing. I just love your hair. You rock it every time.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. And I
I
was
hope you're
looking at,
well tonight.
oh yeah, just Monday, and I can't talk about running because I know you've been running. And
Always.
I, oh my goodness, I don't know how you do it, but you guys have to do it.
Yes, we do.
It's a job all by itself, but welcome. I was just here just enjoying our screen. And
Oh,
yes, I couldn't have shared tonight and talk about it without someone like you here tonight to talk about the
mm,
Honorable Aurelia Green. And I don't know how you do it because for me, it's like the little time I had with her compared to you, who had her over the years like a mother. You know, it is so much, and folks just watching the hair, that alone, you miss the hair. So I think maybe I'll dye my hair white. Don't know if I would look as good as her, but the hair. So welcome another night. And how are you doing? And how we're going to go into the Bronx because I see you from the hip hop to everything going on in the Bronx. And they're saying that the Bronx is the home of the hip hop. And I just love, I just enjoy listening to the Honorable Ruben Diaz Jr., our Bronx Borough president, when he mentioned your name, Latoya Turner, Carl Hasty, and everyone that Aurelia Green has paved the way for. It was amazing just hear him calling the names. I was sitting down and doing some of this, but let me hear from you what it is tonight to even speak about Aurelia Green. And we're talking about our former Bronx Deputy Borough President, Aurelia Green. That's who we're talking about. And for those who are not aware, here comes a picture because most people, when they see the hair, they say, yes, oh,
yes, they
yeah,
remember her.
they remember her right
Yeah.
away. So that's where we are. So what it's like for you to talk about Aurelia Green and in your life coming up with her being your role model, someone you can look up to, someone who push you to your help to push you to your greatness. Because when you could say she's like a mother, that's a lot. It means a lot. So let me hear
Yep.
from you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Sister Avril. Thank you for having me on your show tonight. It's always a great honor to speak to your audience about current events, about things going on in the Bronx. And, certainly I want to recognize, the life, the legacy, and the labor of our beloved Honorable Aurelia Green. She meant so much to so many. And I'm extremely blessed and privileged that I can call her my political mother and political mentor. And for those of you that know my story, I started my time in politics in public service because of Aurelia Green. I was a student at the University at Albany my senior year, and I applied for an internship at the New York State Assembly. And I didn't know that I would be assigned to work for the Honorable Aurelia Green. And that internship led to her mentoring me. She gave me a job after college when the internship was over. And she really took me by the hand and never let me go. And I saw her in the latter part of her career, right? She was an activist. She was a parent leader back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, right? And she ran in a special back in 1982. So when I got to her in 2001, she was really on the tail end of her career. And she decided to leave the assembly in 2009 to serve with Ruben Diaz Jr. as his deputy borough president when he was elected Bronx borough president in the special. And that's when I had the opportunity to run successfully for her assembly seat. But even during my entire journey, my 4 years in the assembly, my 8 years in the city council, she's always been a spiritual advisor. She's always been a mother to me. She calls me as a constituent and she calls me as a mother. And she would ask for assistance in the house, in the neighborhood, anything going on with the family. And, she really made sure that I always felt special. And I would always say to her, I don't know how you did all this work. And she would say, the grace of God. The grace of God has carried me all of these years, and I've always trusted in him. And so, to see and know that she's no longer here physically is painful. But I find such comfort in knowing that she touched the lives of so many people. People that interacted with her loved her vibrance, her smile, her laugh. She called everyone sweetheart, and she really loved life. And I know that she realized that God was always using her. And I used to sit with her. I had a lot of time with her, which I'm grateful, right? She became a mother. So I would go to her house, I would talk to her, and I would ask about how she managed to succeed all these years. Things weren't always perfect back then. It was hard for Black women running for office, and she didn't get the support. She wasn't a part of the county infrastructure at first. And she would always say, I trusted in God. There's nothing impossible for him. And one thing that she did that, was synonymous and not everyone knows, but she used to carry her Bible in the house all the time. And whenever she had someone that, she would call an enemy or someone that was not on her side, she would place their name in a scripture. And I would always say, well, what happens if the list gets too long? She would say, you found another scripture. But I am going to miss her. It's still surreal. Like we just, sent her to her final resting place last Thursday. And it still seems unbelievable. Whenever I look at this card, which I keep it with me. I carry it. I keep it in my office because she's always a part of me. And I am going to live my life and make sure that her legacy remains alive. I felt she had so much more to give, but I know God said it was time. She stayed the course. She kept the faith, and she did the work that God called her to do. And now her assignment is done. And, we have to live without her. But I think it's important that we all remember her and celebrate her life because she really made a difference in the lives of so many people.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And that's why I said it's so important that we talk politics and we talk so much about the community, but this is where we come in tonight to focus on moving the Bronx in the direction it should be going in. We're not saying in the right direction because it sounds offensive. Like we're saying that Ruben Diaz didn't move it in the right direction, but it's time to move on, move forward. And we have to make sure that we have the right person to do that. And with your strength and you're out there and you're running, I always say, how do you do it? How do you do it? I mean, what it takes for you to try to move into that shoe as the Bronx Bowl president and to make Aurelia Green proud, because I sure you're thinking like, oh, I got to do this for her. I got to do this. And I know she have encouraged you and she have pushed you.
Yeah,
and I know everyone who is watching tonight, I mean, this is a different stream and we don't get the views right away because I have something with Facebook. And when I get off now, I have to tap in and then all of a sudden it's sent out because they're doing it differently now when, everything is about paid now. It's not a free show anymore. We think that Facebook is free. It's not. So, when we finish, that's when the show goes out and they tap into my program.
Okay.
So we're just recording now. I call this a recorded show.
Okay.
But what is it for you to be able to be the Bronx Bowl president?
It would be my greatest honor because I truly believe I'm qualified and capable of doing the work. I've done the work. I've showed up in our community for constituents time and time again, whether there's a camera or not. I have fought for affordable housing, economic development, public education, access to affordable health care, parks and open spaces. I've helped to build schools and build housing. I've created thousands of jobs. I've invested millions of dollars in our local public schools, as well as capital investments in NYCHA for residents that live in public housing. I've sponsored incredible legislation that's been groundbreaking, like the Universal Right to Counsel, which provides free legal representation to families facing eviction in housing court. I am also the co-chair of the Women's Caucus, so I do a lot of work around women's reproductive health care, maternal mortality and morbidity, and fighting for healthcare justice for Black and Latina women. I have done the work with youth. I've worked with so many of our young people, anti-gun violence advocates. I've stood up for public safety. I've stood up for veterans and children and families and seniors, the LGBTQIA community, transgender brothers and sisters when they've been assaulted. I've done the work, and I truly, truly acknowledge the great work that Ruben Diaz Jr. has done. I've been proud to partner with him. We've supported a lot of projects jointly, like the Bronx Museum, like the Bronx Children's Museum, like Hostos Community College and Bronx Community in Lehman. So many institutions that we've supported with capital funds and Reso A dollars. And Ruben's been great. He's been great on affordable housing, on jobs and economic development. And before COVID, we had historic low unemployment, down to single digits, 6.5%. And now because of COVID, because so many people lost their income and their employment, we're back to double digits. So I truly believe that the Bronx is ready for the next wave of leadership. The Bronx needs someone who is not new to this work, but true to this work, someone with a proven track record of accomplishments. We don't need on-the-job training, someone who is ready to start on day one, someone who knows how the city works, which I do. I've been in the city council 8 years. I've chaired the subcommittee on capital. I'm on the finance committee now. I am on the budget and negotiating team. I know how the city's budget process works. And I also, as a former state legislator, know how the state budget process works as well. So the next Bronx Borough president needs to cultivate those relationships with City Hall, with Albany, and the federal government, because we need to make sure that those partnerships are solid so we can get the money and support we need as a borough, so we can rebound, COVID recovery, jobs, economic development, affordable housing, all the things that we rightfully need. We're not asking for anything that anyone else has not asked for, but what we're asking for is our opportunity.
Wow, a mouthful.
Always.
A mouthful, yes. And I always say, when you open your mouth to speak, you don't have to read a book.
Nope.
You don't have to
I
read a
live this
book.
work every day, Avril.
Yeah, so it's like asking you a question even about policing. I have seen you at the 49.
I can tell
I've
you.
seen you all over, and you're not bashing the police. You stand with the police the same way you stand with the community. It's about bringing peace. And you talk about transgender, and you talk about everything else, and that's saying that you are for the people. You cannot be against, but saying I am for the people. You understand? So when you look at everyone as equal rights, and you stand with everyone, and you feel that everyone deserves a fair chance, then this is what we're talking about. So we're talking about this election. Most people are asking, with all these running and the council and mayor and everything, when are we going to know who is the winner? How long is it going to take with this special way of doing this election?
Well, the one thing that we should be clear on is if the state legislature is going to approve the new machines that the Board of Elections needs to automatically count ranked choice votes. Under the previous special elections we had on March 23rd in District 11 and District 15, we did not have those machines. So the BOE staff had to manually count all RCV votes. And if you remember, on election night, no candidate got 51% of the vote. And about 2 weeks later, the winners were certified by the Board of Elections after they started the ranked choice voting count. So that's number one. We need the machinery. Number two, the education and outreach. Certainly, I think the city can do better We've only designated about $2 million to Campaign Finance Board for education and outreach. There are organizations like Rank the Vote NYC, NAACP, and many others, civil rights organizations that are hosting events and informationals and webinars on RCV, because most people do not understand what it means. They don't remember that it was a voter referendum back in November 2019 before the pandemic. No one remembers, but 70% of New York City voters voted in the affirmative for ranked choice voting. It was a proposal by the Charter Revision Commission back in 2019. So fast forward now, the threshold for all candidates, and let's be honest, there are about 500 people running for office in the entire city, from mayor to comptroller, public advocate, borough presidents, all 5 borough presidents,
judges,
and judges, about 500 people. So you can imagine it's overwhelming for candidates to promote themselves as a candidate, but also educate people about ranked choice voting. And because the traditional voters are older voters that are 50 and older, they tend to be used to a certain style of voting. So they are probably going to face the biggest challenge in understanding ranked choice voting. I often hear complaints about the size of the font on the ballots. They're too small. There's no magnifying glass. I can't see. The line is long. The ballot's too long. It's too many questions. People get very frustrated when they go to their polling sites. And so we have to address all of that by making sure that it's easy to vote, it's accessible. We obviously can't do much about long lines because of COVID. We still have restrictions on how many people can be inside a polling site. But the beauty is we have early voting 9 days in advance, starting on June 12th, which is a Saturday, through Sunday the 20th, you can vote at an early voting polling site. So that's a good thing, because a lot of people take advantage of that to avoid the long lines on election day.
But that's going to help us to get the counts, the numbers in any earlier?
No, not really. No, it won't. It'll help us in terms of identifying, the votes once the election day is over. The Board of Elections will go back and they'll start to calculate the military absentee votes as well as early voting. But one distinction I want to make clear to the viewers, your early voting polling site is not necessarily your traditional home polling site. So if there are 1,700 polling sites in New York City, there may be 300 early voting sites, right? So early voting sites usually encompass more than one assembly district. It encompasses a lot of voters in that immediate area. And so in the Bronx, I believe we have 17 early voting polling sites in the Bronx, but on a traditional voting, we have many, many more than that. So people should be aware. The Board of Elections has been sending out notices. We need people to pay attention. It will give you a voter card, your ED, your AD, your polling site, and it will tell you where you vote for early voting. So everything is being mailed out to people in multiple languages.
Wow, this is something we are so excited, and I know the people are excited and want to know. And when we have to wait, it becomes like you're having anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was wondering, couldn't they have just changed it for this one time? With such big thing going on, so much voting, couldn't they have just go back to the way we normally do it?
So there was a lot of concern from the members of the Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus in the City Council. I was very concerned as well about the implementation. When we voted on this item in November 2019, no one could foresee that COVID-19 would hit in 2020. So a lot of people rallied to say, well, we should pause or delay the implementation until after we deal with COVID and we resume to normalcy. But then you had a lot of people that said, well, we are denying people, the right for ranked choice voting, and this was the will of the people. So there was litigation, but it was struck by the state court because they didn't want to vote on anything where they felt it would suppress the rights of people to vote. And so the one distinction I also need to make is that ranked choice voting is only in local elections. Mayor, public advocate, comptroller, borough president, city council, special elections, and the primary. This will not apply in November, which is the general. It will not apply next year with the state races, state assembly, state senate. nor will it apply for federal members of Congress. So it's only local elections. So if you think about the delay, Avril, the reason why it wouldn't work is that if we delayed past this election, we're not going to have city races for another 4 years unless there's a special or someone leaves office in the middle of their term. That was a challenge.
Yeah, the special. Well, we hope nobody else leave, because these special election just
Are
some.
expensive.
Yes, it is, because the minute you say help me with the special election, 2 months later help me with the real election. That's
Yes,
what I
that's
call
right.
it, the real one. We're here tonight. We're pushing information. You're joined by Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson, and we're also remembering, we're doing this in loving memory of Aurelia Green. We want to see the Bronx going in the right direction, and not the right direction, but continue to go in the right direction. And I'm celebrating my many months of Zoom virtual here on social media, and not too excited about going back out there into the real world, but it has to come. But everyone know I still continue to go live whether I'm in the studio or not, so this is not going to end. But for those who are out there, join. If you're not aware, many people, everybody's so confused, and you have all the unreal people out there. They're with you 1 minute, the next minute it's another. But no matter what people say, we need somebody who could fight for the
Mhm.
Bronx. We need
Right.
someone who is for the people and for everybody. You can't say I'm not with this kind, or I'm not with this type, but yet you are for the borough. Everyone
Right.
lives in the borough. And I know you're out there, you're very outspoken, you're vocal, you know how to represent, you know how to speak with the police, you know how to speak with the community, and we need that. We need that. I know I'm going to hear it tomorrow. Well, okay, she only had Vanessa Gibson on her show. I'm free to do what I want on the Apple show. This is my show, and I'm free to do what I want to do with my program. So you're here tonight to talk to the people, and I cannot thank Ruben Diaz enough. And as I said, and when I heard good evening to Justin Cortez, and when I heard the Bronx Bowl president spoke about you, and all the others, I say, no, that's my bucket list. I have my bucket list, and it will go out next week, because we have to
Mhm.
stand up for the Bronx. See, I am not afraid to say it, but I feel a lot of people, we're not voting because someone has money to pay me to vote for them. We all gonna live to regret the way we do um, voting. We know everyone gotta get paid for their service. We know everyone hire people to work, but we're not gonna pay out people to just go out and do the nonsense to get a vote. Because when this is all over, we wonder who is gonna be in office representing the people. I mean, I'm here with you, and you didn't ask me to do anything. I asked you to be here, because this is about the community and the people. We know everyone says it's a job and everybody has to get paid. No, there is something called community service. And when you're doing it for the people and you believe in the people, it don't cost you nothing. It don't cost you nothing. The work starts when we elect somebody in office.
Mhm.
That's when the work starts. That's when we start talking about who work and who don't work. So right now you're here to talk. You're here running for office. You don't have $1 billion, and it don't take $1 billion to win a race. It take the vote of the people, and
Mhm.
the people have to believe in you. That's what an election is all about. It's the people and their vote that's count on election day. So we need someone that the people believe in, someone that's going to stand up with the people. I was looking the other day when Ruben and they had the hip hop for the Bronx, and I said,
Mhm.
"Is Vanessa there?" And I said, looking at Ruben with his swag and everything. There's so much things that Ruben has been doing here in the Bronx, the Orchard Beach event
Yeah.
where he bring the people together. You have so many events that the people our custom to and look forward
Mm-hmm.
to. We
Mm-hmm.
have to continue. We
Yes,
have
we
to
will.
continue and even make it bigger and better in the name of
Yep.
Aurelia Green.
Yes.
The
Yes.
people have to unite and come together. So how are we going to do that? We need somebody who could get it done.
Nope, I agree. And you need someone who's going to lead the borough and be a coalition builder, someone who's going to be creative and innovative in their approach to do this work, someone who's going to unite communities from all across the Bronx, no matter where you live, no matter what zip code you live in, but realize that we're all in this struggle together. Luckily, I've had the honor to work closely with Borough President Diaz and his team, so I am very familiar with all of the capital projects in the Bronx, from the Metro North expansion to the Orchard Beach renovation to the YMCA in Edenwall to all the housing in West Farms and the South Bronx, the old Spofford site, the Bronx Children's Museum, the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is what that event was on Thursday. That was the official groundbreaking. A lot of these projects the city council has already invested money in. And I, as a member of the delegation, have made sure that the delegation prioritizes these projects and the speaker picks a lot of them up, which he has. We've also made sure we take care of our culturals, like the Bronx Zoo, Botanical Gardens, Wave Hill, Bronx Museum of the Arts, Mind Builders, Bronx Arts Center, all of the different institutions that we care so much about. Can't forget our colleges, Lehman, BCC, and Hostos. They all have capital projects. We also work with College of New Rochelle, Mercy, as well as MCNY, because they are a part of our community in the Bronx. So I've paid attention. Even well before I knew that I would be a candidate for borough president, I've been paying attention in the city council, and a lot of the projects, the housing projects, come to the land use committee, of which I'm a member of. So I pay attention to detail, and I've worked with the BP on a lot of these projects. So I think, moving forward, of course, Bronx Week and making sure we recognize all the good things about the Bronx, absolutely. All of the cultural celebrations, from Black history to women's history to pride, Caribbean heritage, Irish heritage, African heritage, Garifuna heritage, the Bangladeshi, the Bengali pride. We have to make sure we keep all of that up. And then I also want to do some more things. I want to do things like Boogie on the Boulevard, where we close out a part of the Grand Concourse. I want to do things like that, but I want to have it across the Bronx, Fordham Road, 3rd Avenue, Washington, Pelham Parkway. Let's look at other areas where we can close streets and promote health and wellness. I also want to do something a little different that's never been done before by the BP's office, and it's called participatory budgeting. We've done this at the city council level, and I am one of the members that's done it. We set aside a certain amount of capital discretionary money in our budget, and we allow residents of our community, 11 years of age and older, to pick projects that they ultimately want to support. So we have a period where we come up with all these ideas, like lighting in your park, renovation of a school, different things, countdown crosswalks, countdown clocks, different things like that. And when we put them
Creative.
together, we have a ballot. You have an actual ballot like election day, and the ballot has different projects: arts, education, housing. And we go out, we have vote week, where we go out to the schools, we talk to parents, and the only requirement is you live in the council district. So even if you're not a traditional voter, you can still vote. And we encourage them. We work with CBOs and we incentivize. So we'll have like a block party. It's PB Vote Week. And then you get to vote. And you can vote online, or you can vote using the paper ballot. And then we collect all the ballots, and then we manually count them. And then we come up with all of the votes for each project, and the projects that have the highest number of votes that equal, the set aside for me was $1 million. So the projects that total $1 million, usually about 4 or 5, we fund them in our local discretionary, and we do a big announcement, the big ceremonial checks, and we really encourage people. We democratize the process so that young people can be a part of saying, yeah, I voted for that school auditorium, and guess what? It's getting funded in the budget. So I want to do that as the next Bronx Borough president.
You have
It's
some
real cool.
your hands are full. You have some plans here for the Bronx, keeping the Bronx alive, working with the people, being able to talk to the people, listening to the people, have the doors open. I remember walking into the borough president office a few times, and the last time I was there, and I said, I wonder if I'm going to walk back through these doors. But it's not about just walking through the doors, it's based on who is behind those doors. We need someone who has, um, you just named so many things there just now, a mouthful. We want
It's a
someone
lot.
who's, yeah, who's going to bring the people together, and you being an island girl yourself, who understand what it is to have a
Mhm.
heritage, whether it's Puerto Rico, the USA, the Caribbean, the West Indian. We want someone who could bring us together, unite us here in the Bronx. When you talk about the boulevard and all these great things, we want to see things happening. Ruben may leave, but when you can come with something different, there's nothing wrong with that. It shows that you have something. I mean, who's going to do the Orchard Beach? I mean, people talk about, I don't want to call nobody name here on this show, but we don't need, I mean, I can't, I want to say it, but can you imagine? You have the parade and everything. I see the hip hop event the other day. And I said, if you can't fit in there and you can't mingle with the people and you have to decide where you at, or if you can be here and you can, it's not for you. It's not,
Mhm.
it's not, it's just not for you. It's a time and place for everything. And we have to know money can't buy the people. I'm sorry to say this tonight. Money cannot buy the people. It could only buy them temporary, but it's the
Mhm.
vote the people want. And we are asking tonight, I'm sorry to say this, but when I look at all that's going on, it's a bunch of confusion in the politics. We need someone who could do what we are voting for them to do. We don't need someone to tell me I have $1 million and I have $1 million to throw on the people. So what good is that for the people? Can you do what the people require of you to do to keep the Bronx moving? That's what we're looking for. Somebody want to challenge what I have to say? Feel free, because that's when I'll be able to speak. Because I'm not going to do it
True.
tonight. You understand? We need somebody who can do the job, not somebody who's going to pick and choose what they're going to do for the people of the Bronx. Because this is not something that I like. This is not me. Could you imagine me, a man of God, running the Bronx as a Bronx Board president? Man, Ruben was on the stage getting down. That's Ruben Diaz with his swag on. You're out there, you understand what it is to be on Eastern Parkway during Labor
Ooh,
Day
yes,
weekend,
yes.
and greeting the people and being there and understand the culture and what we are doing there. That's what the people is looking for. We have to be real about it. We cannot be in church and be in the world at the same time. It's
Mhm.
confusion to me. It's okay to be in your community and to help your community to strive. But where we going here now, it's a whole different thing. And I hope nobody gonna say, oh, Cabrera, she was talking about you. And so what? He's a man of God. And I'm saying this, and I'm saying it publicly here on the Apple Show. We need somebody who can do what the people of the Bronx want and need. And we are not talking about praying. And I'm here tonight, and I'm sorry to say this. If they can say all they want to say on social media, I can say it on my program. You didn't pay me. You didn't hire me. I'm not working with you or for you. I am with you for the people. And when I have someone on my show, I am real about it. You're here tonight on behalf of Aurelia Green, and I want to find out from you, can you fit her shoe to move the Bronx to the next level? I'm not disrespecting anybody. I respect Fernando Cabrera, but when I look at him, I see a man of God. I see a man of God. You talk about the LGBT. If you cannot talk about everything, if you cannot work with the police, the LGBT, you cannot understand this one, understand the Caribbean culture, the West Indian culture, the African culture, the American people, then it's no use for me to sit here and talk about the Bronx Board president. I never had to go through this with Ruben Diaz. Why would I have to go through it now? And everybody, that's why it's called the Avril Show. Yes, Cheryl, do it. We have to speak truth into it. Let's be real about it. You are a man of God, and maybe he'll be my next guest, but it might not come out the right way. The man of God, I cannot see it. You cannot be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You cannot buy the people. And who don't like it, they can share this. I am serious about this. We need somebody that stand up, Vanessa Gibson. We need somebody who could stand up and represent in every area and understand every area, even into the church, even talking about a really green Bible. Okay. We need somebody who could talk that. You don't have to be a man of God to talk about God. But if you're going to tell me tonight that you are going to run for Bronx Board president and you want to talk to me, then it's time to talk to me. Because no, we cannot do this. It just don't look right. It's not coming off right. And I can't understand what the people are not seeing and understanding. So we need to know that the people need to vote and vote for the right candidate. You can't, nobody can pay me. I didn't come to you and nobody, and I could say it boldly, you didn't come and cut me a check to push Vanessa Gibson. I always tell you from the days about your mouth with Tish James and everything that you're out there doing. I listen to you speak. I listen to how you can represent. We need a representative. We need somebody who open their mouth and speak. If there's police brutality, you know how to bring the peace in there. It's not about bashing. It's not about defunding the police. It's about bringing the community and the police together. And we need people that could help us to work on that. The churches are there. They are there. So if it's anything, let me walk into Fernando Cabrera's church and say, come on and pray with us, the people. That's what we need. And somebody needs to start speaking truth into this. All this money thing that they're throwing out there, it's not going to work. The people need to vote for who can get the job done. We can't play with the young people. We can't play with mental illness. You speak on a lot of this. I have come all the way down to 165th and attend your events. And you pull me from the Northeast all the way down there. You understand? And that's what we need. We need from the South to the North to meet together and come together. And this is not a bashment show. I'm here tonight to speak truth into this. It's time. You're out there. You're pushing. Everybody's not going to be for you. But people need to understand what we're voting for now. We need to really wake up and understand what we're voting for. We are voting for somebody who could get the job done and somebody who is not afraid to take a stand in this community with the people. You've been to the Virgin Islands, and I know you will work with Ruben when it comes to Puerto Rico and the hurricane and the different things, and you will work with the Caribbean people, you'll work with the American people. It's about working together. It's not about sitting down here and saying, well, I'm with this one, but I'm not with that one. It's time for the nonsense to stop. Our people have to take off the blindfold and understand what we need in office. We need someone in office who could stand up and vote and run and jump and skip. We need to join the 12th district with the 11th district, with the 10th district, and we need to hold hands and move the Bronx to where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, so
you're preaching tonight.
I'm preaching. I guess Aurelia leave something with me. And I told you, I said that the last time I spent with her in the Virgin Islands, I said, my Jesus, there is certain things that I reflect on that send me into a deep depression the other day. And I said, but it's all good because that is why I'm fired up now. We have to take the Bronx to where it's supposed to go. And we are not sitting down. The song say, ain't no stopping us now. So tell the people, since you're here, and I know normally Facebook will give me my promotion after, but when it comes down to politics, they put you in a different category. But it's okay. Problem Phipps, yes, I know you got this, and I understand that you understand now. We have to start and listen to what we need to listen to when it comes to time for the people to vote. We need to get the young people up and bouncing to understand what's going on. Because I see you all over the Bronx. I see you all over with the people. You are not sending somebody out there. You're going out there getting it done. And I've been watching that. And that's a plus. See, you know what they don't understand is you didn't hire people to go out and represent you. You go out and represent Vanessa Gibson. When you can walk into any community in the Bronx, whether it's Corp City, the Northeast, the South, and you're all over the place, then that's what we need. We need to know who you are. We need to see your face. We need to understand who you are. Can you stand up with us when we call on you to come and stand up with us? We don't need to hear, oh, I'm representing this person. Where is that person? If you're too good to come into the community, then maybe you're not for the people of the Bronx. So that's what we need. We need to get fired up and we need to start speaking truth into it. So anybody
Right.
want to challenge me, feel free to come here, because it's time that I call a goose and call a rat. You know, and all these people out here are running around and getting misled because they're doing it. Well, I'm just doing it because I'm getting paid. You're sinking the community. You're sinking the community. You're either for the leader or you're not. Because if you're just going to do it, and then when it's all over, you said, I just did it because I was getting paid, you're a sellout. You're helping to sink the community. We need somebody who is a voice, a strong voice, and somebody who's going to keep the Bronx moving. Say what you have to say. You're here on the Avril Show.
Well, I totally agree with you. And I think there is a new wave of candidates that are running for elected office in the Bronx as well as in other parts of the city. It's encouraging and it's very exciting to see so many women and women of color running for office. And no disrespect to our brothers, but women govern differently. Women bring something different to the table. We are the best multitaskers you will ever meet on the face of the earth. And as a woman of color, as a Black, African American, Caribbean American woman, I am no stranger to hard work and challenge, because that's how my mom raised me, to fight for what's right, to stand up, and to realize as a woman of faith that I'm being used for a greater purpose, right? This work is not about me, but this is about the future generation. And as our ancestors fought and died for the right to vote, for the right to be literate, right, and have access to services, they died so that we could have better. And it's important that we sacrifice so that our young people have access. And so I run for Bronx Borough President as a humble public servant, as someone who's been grounded and rooted in my faith, but someone who's also done the work. I've never, ever, ever believed that I'm just a politician. I always wanted to be exceptional and not average, because I saw that people looked at elected officials in such a negative way. They only showed up during election time when they want something. And I never wanted to be one of those elected officials. I wanted to be someone different. And then when Aurelia Green came into my life, I saw that difference. I saw the example that she set for me and LaToya Joyner, who both succeeded her. And I take all of that and I soak it in. And I remember her lessons and her teachings, because she was elected at a time when it wasn't easy for African American women. And although it's a lot easier, it's still challenging for women of color. We can't raise money. We don't get the same level of support. And sometimes, like, people try to say, oh, that's not true. It is true. Be a Black or Latina woman for one day and see what we have to go through when we sit in boardrooms and we're the only person of color, we're the only woman, and you have men talking about issues that affect women, and they're talking about it in a way that, like, we can't say. And we are the best representatives that there could ever be. We represent for us, for our sisters, for our children. And I think, running for office is a tall order. But when you have been groomed, like I have, by Aurelia Green, I know that I am well prepared on this journey. And being a part of the Green team, because I was also around with Reverend Jerome Green. And Reverend Jerome Green was the one who introduced Aurelia Green into politics. And they started the first paraprofessional program that we have today in our New York City public schools. And because she just wanted to be a parent advocate, just to fight for her two children. And then people started asking her to run for this and run for that. And then that's when God started moving her in such a way and allowed her to serve in all these different capacities. But she did it with humbleness. And I want to have that same character as an elected official. And I do believe a lot of Aurelia's traits have come to me in terms of being humble, in terms of working with everybody. And Avril, not everybody is your friend. There are people that sit right here, smile in your face, and they'll put the knife right in your back. And I get that. And I get that. And I've never been one that's been vindictive or manipulative. I wasn't raised that way because I always feel like everything you do, God will take care of you. Not me, because I'm not the judge, but He is. And so when you do things like that and you don't do things for the glory of God, He will always, always show you that He's in charge. And I
Aurelia is
believe
coming out now.
I do. I really do believe that because anything has to be done in decency and order. And that's what Mrs. Green was about. She was elegant. She was a woman that had her own style. Everyone I met, I heard about the jobs she gave them, the programs she got them into. She got them off drugs. She started her church in her home and started ministering to people. So many of like pastors I know that were former abusers, formerly incarcerated, and she helped them when no one would help them. That's what every elected official should do, whether there's a camera or not, whether you get the credit or not, but you do it for a higher power. And so I take that passion that Aurelia had, and that's what I want to take to Borough Hall because I truly know that the work needs to be done. And I feel like a lot of people have been very complacent and losing hope and just not feeling that things will get any better. And we have to restore people's hope and faith that government can work on their behalf. And I want to be that bridge builder. I want to be that coalition builder that brings everyone together from across the Bronx.
And like I said, everyone is not going to love Vanessa Gibson.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
everyone has their choice. But we need to know that we need someone in office who can do what the people of the Bronx want. My sons, their daughters. There is so much going on. We need mind builders. We need someone
Yes.
who could to just blow the mind of young people, make them want to vote again, make them want to register to vote. We want to see the Bronx Bowl president office have people walking through those doors. There's so much to be done here in the Bronx, but you can't even speak into your dream publicly because the next thing somebody taking it and they're gone with it. But Vanessa, you have changed over the years into a whole different.
Oh,
Oh my goodness! I'm hearing when you spoke just now. It's like I said, Aurelia is coming out. You don't have to be a pastor to
that's
preach.
right. That's right.
You just have to know the word and you just have to know God for yourself. We, the people of the Bronx, deserve a chance to see the Bronx moving in the right direction. We're going to share this program until sharing can't share no more. But we want to make sure that the word go out that we are voting for someone who can move the Bronx. Jackie Williams, good evening to you. That's what we are looking for. We're looking for someone who could move the Bronx. You can't promise me what you will do. I want
Right.
someone who's going to tell me what they're going to do. And that's what we hear all the time. Everybody know, oh, if I get in there, I'll do this and do that. We want somebody who already been doing it, who know what the work is all about, and under Ruben Diaz leadership and the DA, you have to deal with the Bronx district attorney, with everything that's going on in the Bronx. You have to be able to deal with the Bronx district attorney. We need somebody who could help her here in the Bronx. There is work to be done. And we need somebody to understand that. So I don't know what the people are voting for, but I'm encouraging the people to vote, come out and vote. Vanessa Gibson have spoken. We need someone who could represent. And this election, I am voting for Aurelia Green.
Oh.
That's it. She's the reason, if nothing else. Let her be the reason for us to continue taking the mantle to the next level. We got to do that. So, Vanessa Gibson, you're here tonight, and I know I'm going to get it, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready now. The floor is open to anyone who want to be on this show, because take it or leave it. You don't have to be here because tonight start my election process.
Right.
Yes,
That's
tonight
right.
started. We have to be honest about it. And we can't go around hiding. And I'm in the media, and that's where my strength is. And I'm going to use my strength. So I'm waiting for the next candidate to tell me that I said something to offend them, or anyone that feel that I said Vanessa Gibson is going to be walking in a really green shoe. You have to. You can't let her down. You have to.
Yeah.
You know what she stands for? And when you hear Ruben says, because of her, he talked about the assembly speaker, Carl Hasty. He spoke about Latoya Jonah, Vanessa Gibson. He called the names. He called the bucket list. And he said, it's
Mhm.
because of Aurelia Green
Good.
we can talk about politics. So we're going to continue her legacy, and it starts
Mhm.
tonight. I wish you the best. I wish you the
Thank you.
best. Keep walking in your lane. Keep doing what you're
Yes.
doing. Keep pushing
Amen.
and fighting for the people of the Bronx. And on June 22nd, we will know who is our next bold president. And when
Yep.
again is the early election?
Early voting starts Saturday, June 12th through Sunday, June 20th. It's 9 days in advance of the election.
June 12th.
Yep, through the 20th.
Okay. We got to go
Yes,
out and
thank
do
you,
it.
Sister Avril. You know me, I remember her lessons and they will live with me for the rest of my life. I carry her in my heart because I can hear her voice. I can hear her praying for me and encouraging me. And I know that she will see me to the finish line. And if it is God's will, then I will be the Democratic candidate for Bronx Borough President on June 22nd or whenever they finish counting the votes. But I have some great things in store, ways that I'm going to honor Aurelia Green, not just with a street co-naming because that's great, but she's worth so much more than that. But I am talking making sure that, education was her passion. And I have a new school that we're going to build in a few years. And I'm going to make sure that that school is named after Reverend Jerome and Aurelia Green. That is my commitment. And I said that to her daughter and her son. I will never forget Aurelia Green. I will never, ever forget the impact that she has had on my life. And I carry her. I'm so sorry that she's not here, but I know that she lives in me every day. Every day.
You start speaking her language.
Yeah.
You start carrying her
Yes.
tone. And that's what we
Yes.
need. It is on June 3rd, I'm celebrating my another year of the Avril Cancer Foundation. And I was looking forward for her sitting there again.
Yeah,
The
no.
last one she was there and she lit up the room, and it's a night that some people say, wow, we're not going to see her this year. I say, yeah,
Yeah.
she will be right there. She will
Yep.
be right there.
Well,
We got to continue where she left off. And you,
yes, we
even
do.
if you can't walk in her shoes, slide in it. Slide in it, Vanessa. I thank you so
Mhm.
much for being here.
Oh,
Continue to
thank
do
you.
what you're doing. Continue to shed those tears when they want to fall. Let them
Yeah.
out. And we continue to reach out and make sure that we build these bridges that going to
Mhm.
unite us with the people.
Yes.
I thank you so
Amen.
much. And the work starts tonight.
Yes. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me tonight. Peace and
Thank you so
blessings.
much, Mr. De
Yes. God
Castro.
bless you,
Thanks for
sister.
tuning in. Good night, Vanessa.
Good night.